I have to be honest, when I saw the title of the text we're covering today,
Yeah.
The Baby World, my guard went up immediately.
Yeah.
It sounds a little regressive, you know, like we're about to discuss just checking out of reality or hiding from our problems.
That's a very common reaction, I think. We're sort of wired to value maturity and resilience, so the idea of a baby world, it just sounds like weakness.
Right.
But the source text we're looking at today isn't really talking about acting childish. It's defining a specific internal state. It calls it a place where time is soft.
Time is soft. See,
Yeah.
that phrase actually stopped me. It's such a sharp contrast to how we usually operate.
How so?
But where time is rigid, scheduled, and, usually running out.
Exactly. And that's the mission of this deep dive. We aren't looking at this as just some abstract poetry, but more as a blueprint for nervous system regulation.
A blueprint.
Yeah. The text argues that this baby world isn't something you grow out of. It's a structural support that sits underneath your adult self.
So, okay, let's look at the architecture of this space. The text contrasts it so heavily with our normal mode. It describes the adult world as a place of proving, performing, and fixing.
And explaining. That's the big one. In our day-to-day, we obsess over justification. But the text points out that in this internal space, language comes after sensation.
Which implies that usually we try to talk ourselves out of what we feel.
Or talk ourselves into feeling something else. But biologically, our nervous systems detect safety or danger through feeling what we call neuroception, long before our brains can form a sentence about it.
Right.
The text says, warmth is understood before words. When you tap into this state, you stop trying to intellectualize your fatigue or your stress.
It has that line that I love, rest happens when tired. It sounds so simple, but for most of us, rest only happens when we've earned it or when we physically collapse.
That's the proving mode. And the text offers a radical alternative. It says, in the baby world, mistakes are impossible.
See, that's where I get skeptical again. Mistakes are definitely possible. I mean, if I mess up a spreadsheet or say the wrong thing to a friend, that is a mistake. Telling myself it isn't feels like denial.
And in the external world, you're absolutely right. Consequences exist. But look at the context of the text. It says mistakes are impossible in this specific internal state.
Yeah.
Because everything is learning. Everything is response. It's shifting from moral judgment to biological feedback. If you touch a hot stove and pull back, that's not a mistake. It's a response.
So is removing the judgment we pile on top of our reactions.
Precisely. It creates an internal environment of safety. And the text argues that growth unfolds naturally when the environment is safe. You don't have to, drag yourself forward by the collar to grow.
That really challenges the whole hustle mindset, the idea that we have to force our own evolution. But here is the worry, and the text actually addresses this directly. If I spend time in this soft time, if I stop performing, do I lose my edge? Do I become helpless?
And that is the critical distinction. The source is very explicit here. It says, when adults return to the baby world internally, they do not become helpless, they become regulated.
Right. It says this state supports the adult world from underneath.
Think of it like a foundation. If the foundation is cracked, the house shakes every time the wind blows. If the foundation is solid held, as the text puts it, the house stands firm. You need that soft internal safety to handle the hard external reality.
There's a phrase in there that I think is the core insight of this whole piece. Receive without collapse.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
It really is. It implies that usually when we accept help or care, we feel like we're crumbling, like our identity as a capable adult is failing because we need something.
We often equate receiving with weakness, but this text reframes receiving as capacity. It says, when you can rest without guilt and feel without fear, life becomes gentler without becoming smaller.
So you aren't shrinking your life or hiding.
No, you're just dropping the defensive armor so you can actually move through the world.
So it's a resource, not a retreat.
And it's always there. The text ends by reminding us this world does not disappear with age. It waits. It's a mechanism for settling the body so you can go back out and deal with the hard edges of reality.
It's a lot to process, especially if you're used to gripping the steering wheel so tightly.
It is. But here is a thought to leave you with, and it's a challenge from the text. It says that in this space, trust exists before strategy.
Trust before strategy.
We all have a problem we're wrestling with right now. Usually we attack it with strategy. How do I fix this? How do I maneuver? But try this. What would happen to that problem if you approached it not with a plan to fix it, but from a state of being safe enough to just feel it first?